to the viewers who's just tuning in and wondering what's going to take place today, it really is a historical moment in the city of Monrovia. Historical why? Because we have visitors from 186, which is located in Gardena.
Gardena, California.
All right, and they have a very special program at their school. So don't touch that dial because you're going to learn something today.
1, 2, 3. Let's soar! Let's soar! Owls, winning, learning, succeeding. 186. Let's soar!
All right, I'm honored to have here in the studio, KGM Studio, two very special guests to put together something very special every year for the last 9 years. It's amazing. I'll let them introduce themselves. And your name is?
I'm Marcia Sidney Reed, and I am the proud principal of 186th Street Elementary School.
Which is located?
It's located in the Los Angeles Unified School District in Gardena, California.
And your name is?
I'm Kara Pfeiffer, and I'm the Peace First Coordinator at 186th Street School.
Sounds like a big title.
It is.
All right.
A lot of responsibility.
Let me go back to the principal, Ms. Reed.
Yes.
A question, how did this come about? Peace March, celebration.
Yes. Well, you know, every year we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And I was trying to think of something that would be an active learning experience for our children, where they would internalize it and actually see how life must have been when Dr. King led the various marches.
So something beyond happy birthday, it's King's birthday, and
Yes.
it's over with, bam.
Yes, we have a beautiful march where children have an opportunity to walk the perimeter of our school, and they make signs to encourage others to be peacemakers. We sing songs, we do our chants, and we release white doves. We just have a wonderful day.
All right, now wait a minute.
Celebrating peace.
The viewers out there probably wondering, you just woke up and then all this began to happen?
No, it's just, you know, I'm always trying to find a way to make it come to life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's a saying like, I'd rather see a sermon rather than hear it. You know, having children have a hands-on experience where they in turn will go back and share this with others. When you think about your days in elementary school, you think about those times where you actually got to do it. It makes a difference. You remember those things.
Now that you have some goals that you wanted to achieve?
Well, we have a Peace First curriculum at our school where we teach our children how to be peacemakers and not peace breakers. We want them to learn how to resolve their conflicts using words and learning how to get along with one another. So each semester we teach them a curriculum, and then in the second semester we have a community service learning project where the children have an opportunity to do active experiences where they're helping others. So the Peace March is like a launch for those community service learning projects. And who better can set that example? We talk about Dr. King, who was an ultimate peacemaker. So our children are able to listen to his speech. And, you know, we have all the children of the world attending our school. We have 975 children.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people. And our children, they don't live in the area where our school is located. They live in the Harbor Gateway. And in their neighborhood, there's a lot of crime and gang activity. So I wanted my children to see life from another side so that they can dream big. So as they walk the perimeter of their school, they're able to compare and contrast and see, well, my neighborhood doesn't look this way, but I will dream of it being a better, it'll be better one day. So we give them some opportunities to see that there is a better side to life.
So how does the surrounding community embrace this activity of all these people coming out of school?
Yes.
Not a fire drill.
No.
Not a bomb alert.
Yes.
It's something peaceful that's happening. How has that changed that environment in some ways?
Well, you know what's so great is that we always try to get the home, the school, and the community to work together. Because when all of us work together, there's no limit to where you can go. So we have our community leaders, the Los Angeles Police Department, our Harbor Division. They come to help us to make sure that the march is safe. They bring their dogs, they bring their ATVs. One year they even had a helicopter fly over, and the pilot shouted out to the children, "Hello, all you peacemakers," you know.
Wow.
So,
now what impact is that on children?
It's a huge impact because the parents come as well. We give them all a t-shirt, and it says, "I am a peacemaker," and it says the power of peacemaking. And it's all of us coming together and watching our children take part in something special. And as they walk the perimeter of the school, when they come back, we have our community leaders stand and give them a high five as they come back into the school to say, "We're proud of you. You're making a difference."
All right, now, academically, someone out there may be wondering, has they improved test scores?
Absolutely.
Are they doing a better job?
Absolutely. I say we're soaring academically, artistically, and peacefully. And I firmly believe if there's no peace, there's no learning. So we had to find a way where our children could stay in the classroom and soar academically. When I first came to 186th Street this is my 10th year, my office was the Department of Transportation. I had more children in the office rather than staying in the classrooms. And when you want to improve your test scores, because that's a huge piece, right? Yeah. You need the children in the classroom and you need them learning. And I always say every child has a right to come to school and feel safe. When you feel safe, then you can soar academically. Now the state deems 800 as an academic performance index when a school is doing well. Well, with our population, we have 70% or so English language learners. We have over 86% poverty. But our children are soaring at an 838.
Could you repeat that for the viewers out there?
Index, 838. So we're proud of that.
So all the teachers got to feel elated also.
Absolutely. We have a group of America's finest educators, and they're always doing whatever it takes to make a difference in the lives of our children.
So what's that butterfly effect? How does it pass down to each new student that comes to the school?
Yes, we're teaching all of them to be those peacemakers. I was in a classroom the other day evaluating one of my teachers, and they were reading The Three Billy Goats Gruff. And one of the little kindergarten students raised his hand and said, "Miss Moran, the troll is not being a peacemaker." So we're having peacemaking skills throughout the school. It shows with our murals. We have stars with positive words. We call it the Avenue of the Stars. We say that we're a college-going culture, and we're always talking about peace. We have a song, we have a chant, we have a code, we have a creed, and it involves everyone being a peacemaker. And you know what's so great? I want our children to go home and help their parents to be peacemakers as well, because a lot of our problems that we deal with in our world, it comes from the home.
So not to cut you, so is this impacting the next generation?
Absolutely. We're paying it forward. We're planting seeds, and it will blossom in wonderful ways later on. You never know who. We could have the next president in our classrooms, you know. We have the next teachers. These are all of our leaders.
All right.
And I always tell our children that they are our wise owl leaders, and they need to make wise decisions. And we're really focusing on teaching them those 21st century skills on how to communicate, how to collaborate, you know, to resolve conflicts. Because we have an awesome responsibility, but it's all hands on deck.
All right. To those that heard the music, seen the colorful ethnic clothing that they had on, yes, showing the diversity of the school, a learning experience. You say that the scores are better, and it's not just about singing and high-fiving. Yeah. You're saying, who put this curriculum together? How do you go from your dream, your vision, to How do I make this a learning experience?
Yes, you know how we said we have the Peace First program. For the past 3 years, we've had AmeriCorps teachers at our school helping us to impart this knowledge and teaching the Peace First curriculum. And it's about our children learning how to resolve conflicts. And so the children will have lessons weekly, on a weekly basis, but we had the AmeriCorps teachers for 3 years. And this is our first year without the AmeriCorps teachers. We moved to another area. So we have a Peace First coordinator now who's wonderful, who's helping our teachers to share this knowledge with the children.
Did they make it here today? Where's that peace coordinator to put all this paperwork together? That probably would be Miss Pfeiffer.
Kara.
Kara Pfeiffer. How you doing today?
I'm all right, thank you.
All right. Now, how did you arrive at the school?
Well, long path, but I came from Ohio, was raised there, and looked around for job opportunities in California. My husband was going to school here, and I saw this opening for a Peace First teacher. And it was going into the classroom once a week for an hour. I had 16 classes that first year, and I saw that job description, and I just started crying. I thought, this is it. This is for me. This is what I need to do.
So you found yourself at 186th Street School.
Yes.
Creating a curriculum.
Well, working with a curriculum that had been created. Peace First is a national nonprofit organization based out of Boston. And
wait a minute, that's something from Boston end up in Gardena, California.
yeah, it's the president of the organization, Eric Dawson, has a grand vision to spread a culture of youth peacemaking across the country. And so there's been different versions of the program, but in Los Angeles and New York City and Boston, they've had these programs to really dig deep into the youth population of these 3 major cities.
So what is that program like for a parent that's at home and is wondering, all right, what's homework? What is the program?
The program gives students full body experience with peacemaking. We teach them social emotional learning skills, how to resolve conflicts peacefully. We teach them communication and inclusion and exclusion.
They can comprehend all these words?
Oh yes,
that you're
absolutely.
using?
You know, maybe not day one,
yes.
but the end of the semester we do 10 weeks in the fall. It's all the knowledge. It's the language. We read stories together. We have the language of peacemaking and peace breaking, which the students
what grade does this
fully
start
embraced.
in?
Pre-K.
Pre-K?
Yep, little 3- and 4-year-olds. And let me tell you, they are some of the most creative peacemakers.
Yes.
Probably more creative than some of the folks in D.C.
You know.
All right. Now they tell me that there's a Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes. It's
for children?
The Peace First Prize. And creative peacemakers between the ages of 8 and 22 who have thought up of these peace projects in their community, and they've dreamed them up and practically, for the most part, run it all for themselves. They've been nominated by people in their communities, their families, their schools, and then there's an extensive application process to showcase their project. And they've just awarded 10 prizes to these prize winners.
All right. Someone's out there probably wondering, you get a kid, you say, this is boring. What a peace. They always arguing in my house. I walk down the street, there's violence all around me. It's all in the music, it's everywhere. Why peace?
Well, what else is there? What's the alternative?
Violence. But how do you get a kid that may be reluctant to embrace this?
First of all, our curriculum uses games.
Okay.
And so sometimes they don't realize they're learning. But we do these activities that are geared towards the learning goals. And so these games help them experience and practice the peacemaking skills as they're playing the games. And then we have the debrief at the end where we really draw it out so that they can understand, make the connection between the lesson, the vocabulary, to what they're doing in these activities. They role play. And then at the end of the year, they put on an entire service learning project in the community where the kids dream up a project on their own and they have to learn. We guide them, but they are really the ones taking charge of the project and implementing the project. It's beautiful.
So this is some serious stuff.
It's some serious
Absolutely.
stuff.
All right. So you've said a word of peace ambassadors.
That's correct.
How do they come about?
These peace ambassadors are our students par excellence. They have exhibited peacemaking in every category of their lives. The teachers have recognized them as leaders, and they nominate them. And then they go through an application process and they interview with us. And if we feel like they really are making the cut, then we invite them to be part of the ambassador program. We've got about 40 students in the program, and we train them in mediation skills.
All right. And we're honored to have here in the studio 2
Yeah,
ambassadors.
and they're
right?
fantastic.
All right. And what are their names? Tell me, who are they?
We have Cyrus and Paris with us today.
Okay, and they're going to do a brief interview. Think they're going to be nervous?
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit. They'll handle it, right?
They'll handle it. They're
All
champs.
right.
They're wise owl student leaders.
All right.
And we always tell our children to treat everyone, and they'll say how, the way you want to be treated.
All right.
And if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all.
All right. And we're going to hear what the youth have to say. The youth ambassadors, they're going to rule this nation. I'm honored to have in the studio 2 peace ambassadors. And your name is?
Paris Thomas.
All right. And your name is?
Cyrus White.
All right. Loud and clear. One more time, Paris.
Paris Thomas.
All right. Peace ambassadors. Now, someone just tuning in may wonder, what's a peace ambassador?
A peace ambassador is someone who helps to solve conflicts peacefully on the yard. Rather than choosing sides, they have to help both of the well, I guess you
Both
could
of
say
the people
children,
involved?
people that are involved, or sometimes the conflicts can be between someone and themselves. So you just have to state your opinion about what happened, and you just have to help to resolve it peacefully instead of negatively.
All right, Cyrus, tell me what a conflict may be.
A conflict may be people fighting over, oh, somebody didn't listen to what I said. Somebody doesn't want to do the way I want to play. Somebody took the ball from me. Those are some main conflicts on the yard that sometimes happen.
All right, now before you become a peace ambassador, I'm pretty sure you have to take classes. And what is the curriculum? What does that teach you?
It teaches us how to solve conflicts, but if there's a conflict, to make the people solve the conflict themselves and not having us solve the conflict for them.
Okay, make them think about how to deal with situations.
Yes.
So how did you get involved with it? How did you become a peace ambassador?
Mrs. Reed sends a paper to all the teachers, but your teacher has to trust you, and they have to know that you're one of those people who can be peaceful out there rather than just being negative and choosing, oh, this is my best friend, so I'm going to help them instead of the other person. And you have to be one of those people who can deal with that. And you can sign up, but your teacher has to know who you are and what you're like before you can actually be part of the group.
All right, now did you volunteer for this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, what is your experience in the Peace March? Or first tell the viewers, what is the Peace March?
The Peace March is a march that we do around our school. We make banners, signs, puppets, etc. And we first have an assembly, then we listen to part of the Martin Luther King speech. Then Ms. Reed lets out a cage of doves, and then we start marching around the school.
Amazing. Now, is that fun?
Yes.
Does anyone in school ever say that's corny?
No.
No? They really enjoy it. Okay, that's, All right, everyone has a favorite part of an event. To some people, when it's a birthday, it's blowing out the candles. To some people, it's slicing the cake. To some people, it's dressing up. What is your favorite part of the Peace March?
My favorite part is being able to spread peace around our community and the neighborhood when we're walking around. And sometimes when the people that live in the houses nearby the school, they sometimes walk outside or look out the window to see what's happening. And we're all just walking around the school, and we let them know that we're spreading peace, so that's really my favorite part.
Oh, and you? What's your favorite
My
part?
favorite part is listening to the Martin Luther King speech, because to me, the Martin Luther King speech is like a gate to freedom, a gate to have peace, a gate to do what we want and how we want.
To think one person had that dream, and you guys are making it, keeping it alive in so many different ways. So how does it impact the community, you think, when you have this Peace March, and it happens every year, right?
Yes.
How do you think that affects the community? Either one?
I think it affects the community by teaching them that you shouldn't just make peace in school, but spread it amongst the community, spread it amongst the world, and not just in one little area.
So it's almost like a rock hitting a pond, and it just ripples all the way around. Mm-hmm. So now when you leave school, do you feel that peace?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're in what grade now?
5th grade.
And you're in what grade now?
5th grade.
So you've been doing this how long? How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 2 years.
2 years? Amazing. What about you, Paris?
I can say about 6 or 5.
All right. Now to a viewer out there that maybe just tuning in and wondering about a Peace March and that, what would be your message to them to join or ask the school to create something like this special? What would you say?
I would say that don't just have peace in your school, but also have it at your house, when you're playing outside with your friends, when you're at the grocery store, wherever you are, and whatever the conflict, solve it peacefully, and don't have a angry tone like, oh, stop. Just like have a peaceful tone and talking regularly.
And what would you say, Paris?
I would give the advice by saying you need to know all the good things that come in mind, all the positive things that come to mind when you know that you're helping other kids and even sometimes adults to be friends with each other and get along together all the time.
All right, thank you both so much. And somewhere in that Bible it says, and the young shall lead them. Hello there, how you doing? Coming right back at you. All right, when you think about Dr. Martin Luther King and his vision and his dream, and he laid it out what he envisioned, and we all know it quite well, children holding hands, equality, and all that. Your vision, your dream for a program that's blossomed into something that's taken root in various spots. What is your whole, what do you want it to accomplish?
What do you want it to accomplish? You know, I just want us to have some positive citizens for our world. You know, as you see it in the faces of our children, and we're sharing an appreciation for diversity, I want our children to be able to just get along with others and to help make this world a better place for all of us. They will be the ones who will become leaders. Well, I call them leaders now.
Oh, they are?
But as they move on, they will become the role models. Mm-hmm. And if the role models are positive, that will be a wonderful thing for our world. You know the saying, how they say it takes a village to raise a child. I always say, if that village is crazy, you're going to raise some crazy children. So we're making our village safe, sane, and civil.
So this is an annual event that takes place every year.
Every year.
And it's been going on for how long?
Yes, this is going to be our 9th Peace March. And I am so proud of how it's blossoming out, and we're paying it forward. You know, we talk about having a spirit of service, and we're giving back to the community. This is our gift. And as when you meet our peace ambassadors today and you hear them speak about how they love being a part of it, and they tell you what's their favorite part, you know, you'll see that they're starting to internalize it. It's becoming a part of them. And they'll be role models for their sisters and their brothers, and will continue to pay it forward.
Okay, now when you created this, if I could use the term, peace zone.
Yes.
How do you spread that zone to create another satellite? How do you pass that baton over to other troubled schools, no matter where they may be at in the world? Because when you talk about peace, you're talking about an internal energy that we all come onto this planet with, that energy of positivity. How do you spread that? How does it go beyond 186th Street in Gardena? How does it go beyond that? How does your dream propel like Dr. King's dream propel?
It's like each one, reach one. We're going to build peace one friend at a time. If we teach, I have 975 children, and they each are peace ambassadors. They can go forward into their neighborhoods and share the lessons that they've learned. And then here we are today on your show. This will air, and others will hear about what we're doing, and maybe just a small spark will give someone else encouragement to try something different, because we're all in this together. We all have a responsibility of building peace.
Now, as that person would say out there that's watching this, that really sounds beautiful, how come more schools are not doing it? How come it's not embraced by, I guess that would be Los Angeles Unified School District? Don't they know about this?
Yes, they know, and we all have a responsibility. My heart is a part of it, we love what we're doing. We love our children.
Right.
And when you love children and you want to give them a winning edge, you need to teach them how to get along with others.
Okay.
Because that's what corporations are looking for. Children who can collaborate, children who can problem solve, children who are able to think critically. So we have that responsibility. Someone helped me, and so I'm paying it forward. Just like President Obama asked us to be servants, to have a spirit of service. This is our opportunity to serve others.
Okay, now when you think of young people, we know they love music.
Oh, yeah.
And we know they love art. Now, someone told me out of all of this, 2 books came out of this.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about the first book.
We have The Colors of Love and Peace is our first book. We had an opportunity for our children to create their art projects. And our teacher, Rika Shacofert, she invited her husband to see our art show. And he came and he saw the beautiful art projects, and he came running into my office and he said, "Mrs. Reed, may I please take pictures of the art projects? I want to put it in a book and we can share it with children all around the world." And I'm like, "Oh, if you do that, then I'll write a song." So I wrote a song called Colors of Love and Peace. He helped to present our book. He sent the rough draft to the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama wrote the foreword for us. So that was our first book. And everyone's like, wow, this really happened. We had our children come in and they took a look at their art projects, and we said, if you could tell a child who's in the hospital some encouraging words, what would you say to them? And so they shared, like, eat your vegetables, listen to the doctor, pray for peace. So those were our children.
Healing words.
Yes, healing words. So this book was put together, and when we did our launch for the book, we were able to invite Congresswoman Maxine Waters. We gave her copies of the book, and she took it to the White House to share with the president. So we were so proud of that.
My has the dream soared.
Yes, so that's how it keeps, flowing and growing, Each of us, we become ambassadors to give to others.
It's quite amazing. The whole day has been filled with a person's dream that turned into reality. Peace marches, celebrating Dr. King's birthday, and then having that turn into a curriculum at a school, going beyond just a happy birthday to you, to learning how to deal with issues associated with violence, whether it's at home or at school. We know when you talk about bullies, and that's all over the news, but just think there's a school where someone's dream is really happening. And then guess what? The person that had the dream had someone walk into their life to help keep that dream alive. So I'm honored to have here in the studio right now, Dr.
Fred und Schwickatford.
Okay. Now I gave that intro So what role and how did you step into this dream to help it propel and be part of reality?
Well, I saw a star in the sky, and I think Mrs. Reed was holding to that, and that really pulled me towards the school, and also everything started from there. My wife is a teacher at 186 Elementary School, and one day I went to the art show and randomly took picture, and I went to Mrs. Reed and I said, can I take some of these pictures home and take a picture with my good camera? So go ahead and do it. And soon enough, I found out those that I took picture in the art show really showed the soul of the art show. And so that led for me to pursue that, to become a book, which is called Colors of Love and Peace.
Now this was the first book.
That's correct. And
that art is inside this book.
Yes, every page has an artwork of a child with a picture of the student and a message for the children in the hospital.
Okay, what is art versus creativity?
Well, I feel art is synonymous with skill. That's why we can grade it. We can have a jury to grade the art, number one, number two. One person can show the light better than that person. That can be learned. But creativity is something we are born with. That's why you cannot grade creativity. I always tell, if you put pile of rocks to find your way back home, that's creativity. But if you do it so that the rocks look like a dog, that's art. Because you have to know how to do it to look like that particular animal. So my work with the children is most importantly emphasized to be a creative work, not so much an artistic in the sense of skill. Because a child can only move one hand. You cannot ask for that child to do something specific or something we call so quote unquote beautiful. But that child, if you let that child do what he or she wants to do, to express from within, then you see the magic happening.
Freedom of expression.
Exactly.
All right,
and
now,
that
now how does book one differ from book two?
Book one was really a documentation of the artwork of the children at 186 Elementary School. The second one is an instructional art book. After I went to the hospitals and worked with the kids, I felt that there was a need for the hospitals to have some kind of a format, at least that they can do artwork with it.
Now, some of the viewers out there wondering, are you a doctor?
I'm a doctor of agriculture economics. I was educated in Germany and was a professor for 4 years in Iran. I'm Persian, and was a research professor again in Germany, and came 1973 to United States to join my family.
So how did you end up in a hospital, but not as a doctor?
Well, you know, it was just when I went to Germany, actually I wanted to become a medical doctor, and it was too expensive. And I went to a route and an education that became affordable for my parents. At that time, my father had a setback, financial setback. I actually enrolled in medical school, couldn't continue it.
Okay, so what hospital are you currently working in?
I'm working in Miller Children's Hospital, but as I said, as a volunteer. And we have also a group, I created a nonprofit organization. It's called Colors of Heartful Children's Foundation, that go with me, and we do art and craft with the kids who have cancer.
In the hospital?
Yes.
Now, how important is that for a child? Because a child's young mind doesn't have an idea of cancer. They don't know that challenging word.
Yeah.
How do you soften the blow or inspire them that through art? What happens through art? How is that therapeutic?
Well, the moment I walk in the door, I don't even believe there is anybody here with cancer. And when I don't believe it, they don't believe it.
Okay.
What we do has nothing to do with cancer. It has to create joy, to create fun. And when you have that, then you give them the therapy necessary to fight the cancer, you know.
So, as you observe this event that happens,
yes,
as the child releases everything through art, how does that impact you?
Well, it impacts me so that I go back to the hospital again and again. Where my bed is, there are pictures of those children on the wall. Not in a frame, just glued on the wall. And some of them have died. And every time I go to bed and every morning I get up, I'm reminded what I need to do now. That is my mission for as long as I live. So that is the driving force, pull me to the hospital, and also the volunteers, that they go out of their way. Some of them work 2 and 3 jobs. They come and work with the kids.
So every child that passes from this sphere to the next leaves you with a message and leaves you with a drive to continue. So the viewers out there probably wondering, if you connect the dots, how did you get tied, involved with 186th Street School?
Well, as I mentioned, that my wife is a teacher there, but there is a connection because of the second book that we did, and also Mrs. Reed and some other teachers came to the hospital in order to create the book. She worked with different children, and so I believe Miller Children's Hospital and 186th Street School are the 2 wings that I have, through which I soar. I go higher up.
All right, going higher up.
Yes.
When people get a book, they always wondered who endorsed it, who signed it, who wrote the foreword. Who did that?
You know, when we did our first book, the word peace, I asked myself, who could be the most representative person in the world today when you talk about peace? So Dalai Lama came to my mind, and I wrote a note, and I made a manuscript, and I wrote a note and sent it to Dharamsala, where his office is in India. And I called, and the people in the office, they discouraged me.
Did they know you?
No, they didn't know me at all. But they discouraged me. They says, well, His Holiness is not going to do that. And then they lost my book. But after they found, because I was calling almost every day, I knew exactly what was going on there. Persistent. I said, I have only one request. Why don't you show the book to His Holiness? And they did. And a week later, I had an email on my computer, and I got the hard copy. So when he saw the book, he said, well, he would do it.
What was that feeling when you first heard that?
It was great. It was, I was feeling good for the kids more than for me, you know.
Yes.
And it just, you know, I have different awards in my life. I have even a medal from Shah of Iran, but none compared to this, because that was for the kids, that was for the school. And I feel very honored about that.
All right. They also would tell me that the principal, Ms. Reed, she's also inside this book also?
Yes, yes, she is. Actually, she's in this book, not, well, she's in that book writing her message,
and then
but she's in this book also as an art teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So through art and the power of art is a healing for everyone, not just the patient, the child, but also the parents when they see that art also, right?
Patient, parents, volunteers, whoever is witnessing it, it's just the joy. When you see a kid joyful running around or doing an artwork, everybody seems to be affected with it.
All right, they tell me
contagious.
The other part of art is music.
That's right.
And there's a music component to all of this. What role does music play with art?
Well, several years ago, music therapy and art therapy was unknown in the hospitals. But I believe more and more it has been recognized that the music played a great role in the hospitals, and as a result, we see a whole lot of activities in that direction. I want to share with you a very short experience I had with a 3-year-old. I was at the bedside and was trying to do some artwork with him, and sometimes we use marbles that we roll in a tray to create paintings, which all the kids want to do. And this kid would not react one way or the other. And then came an intern, a boy with a guitar, and gave a shaker to this boy and started playing the music. And he came to life. I have never seen the effect of the music on a patient like I witnessed that day.
That creativity.
That is, yeah. And that is what I feel also that the choir does, or every time that we play the CD in the hospital, that the kids really get motivated and get encouraged.
Because music is inside of all of us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, who's the person that brings out that music?
Well, that person is the wonderful Mr. Stephen Bullard.
Okay.
Yes.
And on that note, we're going to bring him in. When you put together children with music, you have to be a person of strong perseverance, because it's over and over again. So who is this additional angel that came to 186th Street School? You don't know? Stephen Bullard, how you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
All right. You seem very calm and cool. Is it always like that?
Well, for me, it has to be, because music is very relaxing, and you try to make the most of the situation by listening to music. Music is everywhere. When you go to the shopping center, you go into the elevator, you're driving your car, music is there to help us all relax.
A powerful influence.
Oh yes, it is. And especially working with children. Children love music, they love to dance, they love to jump and sing. So it is an outlet for them to have expression through the sense of music.
And as you said, a powerful statement. It's a release of energy.
And expression.
And expression. It's
Yeah.
a way to express yourself in so many ways.
Yeah.
So some viewers may be wondering, how long have you been involved with 186th Street School? How did you get involved?
Well, I'm the director of the International Children's Choir of Long Beach, and the principal, Miss Marcia Reed of 186th Street School, asked me to come over and work with her children, and that was about 8 years ago.
So you've been dealing with one group of children,
Yes.
and then you go to 186th Street School, and you deal with a set of children there.
Yes. So I teach them the same songs, and they've kind of adopted the 186th Street kids as peace pals. And so these children perform together, they travel together, and have become friends and in the performance mode.
When you say they travel, where do they go? Around the block? Down
Well,
the street?
we travel throughout the greater Los Angeles area. Last week we did a Christmas tree lighting ceremony for the city of El Segundo. We get on the bus, and sometimes it's a 20-minute ride, and sometimes it's a 2-hour ride.
Filled with song? Do you sing on the bus?
Most of the time the kids that's their time to interact with each other and help each other out. They kind of take care of each other. A lot of our alumni with the children's choir, they really remember the connections they've made riding on the bus.
Okay,
so that's a thing.
bond.
Yeah, and when you move to the back of the bus, that's the older kids go to the back of the bus. So it's a rite of passage. The younger kids are in the front, and as they get older, they get to go to the back of the bus with the cool kids.
Now the title says international. Do you go beyond the local neighborhoods?
We have in the past. We've had the opportunity to go to Central Europe, Africa, Russia.
What part of Africa?
Egypt, North Africa.
Where it all began.
Yes.
Is that the land of the Sphinx and all of that?
Yes, and the pyramids, we got a chance to ride camels.
So the children get this experience?
Yes, they do. So they actually get a chance to live history as opposed to just learning it in school. So they are viewing it in person. And we went to the museum where King Tut's archives are kept, and we really got a chance to learn and see and physically touch history. And so that stays with you a lot longer than just reading it in a book.
So why is music so important? Why?
Well, music it touches us all. And it allows children who may not be the greatest in academics a chance to do something that they may not shine in. But they come to choir, they come to play their instrument, and they shine through music.
Now, is music math, or is math music?
Well, it can be.
As it stimulates the mind.
Right, right. There is a thought that musicians make really good mathematicians, but in music, you're only counting to maybe 4 at the most. But it's those divisions of 4 that you have to rely on certain parts of your brain where you more or less wouldn't do that in math. So it's movement and math and reading. So it's multiple disciplines at the same time.
Now, music can have 2 components. Music can be violent and music can be peaceful. Right or wrong?
Well, you know, it's up to the person to make of it what they would. Mm-hmm. If you were a violent person, then you might gear towards violent music. If you're a peaceful person, you might try listening to something peaceful. But then again, you have the opportunity for it to cross over. It may be able to touch someone who's violent and may be able to calm them down. Some people might be in a rage, but if they put on a certain song that they're connected to, then they may be able to calm down.
So it becomes therapeutic.
Right, exactly.
The power of music, were you always influenced with the power of music as a young age, or this is something you just decided to do later on?
Well, I was introduced to music. My grandmother played the piano for a church, and coming up in church, and I used to love going to see my grandmother play the piano. I remember watching her play the low notes on the piano, the bass. It really excited me to look at her play, and listening to the choir at church. They weren't the best singers, but they sang with such joy. It was, I still remember that today after all these years.
And your grandmother's name?
Nina Mullings.
All right, that's how you keep the spirit alive. They say
Yes.
you say the name.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're calling on them. 186th Street School. What do you envision in the future? Are you a part of this that's growing? What is your vision for your role in this?
To expose these children to a world that they may not have ordinarily been exposed to, for them to grow up and be mentors to other children, for them to take this to another level, to high school or to the university, and maybe choir directors in the future themselves. Or wherever they go, they can learn through music the disciplines and all the properties it takes in order to put a production together, whether it's be a Broadway show, singing for a civic event. Wherever they go, they can take a piece of what they've learned in chorus with them throughout their life.
All right, with all this positivity of music, why is it that's part of the budget they always want to cut first?
Well, there's a thought that the music discipline is not as important as math and science, which is a misconception because it is just as important discipline as any other discipline within the academic area.
So how does music teach a social skill?
Because you have to relate to your neighbor that you're singing next to, or the instrumentalist that you're playing for, the audience. It's a social event, all just putting together a song.
All right, we talked about music, and the viewers out there probably wondering, we can't wait to hear what the children have. So let's sit back and let's enjoy that.
This is a song for the children all over the world. From Canada, Europe, and Mexico, to Russia, America, and Tokyo. We are the hope for the future. Please give us the freedom to grow. Hand in hand we will learn today. Hand in hand we will work and play. Making new friends.
I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this fabulous show that took place right here in Monrovia, California. And as the students at 186th Street School always say, we're going to do what?
Soar together